All right, guys, it's time for my honest opinion and review of the Samsung Galaxy Note 7. So this device, I'm going to start with the techie stuff first for those people that just might not know or just would like to know, or they have just not been following this device. I'm sure you've heard something about this phone at one point or another. So the screen is 5.7 inches and it's a Quad HD display. Has a 12 megapixel on the back for the rear camera, shoots in 4K, 2K, 1080p at 60 frames per second, slow motion, it's got it all. 4 gigs of RAM built inside this puppy. A Snapdragon 820, the latest and greatest from Snapdragon at the moment. A 3500 milliamp hour battery is packed inside of here. So it's got goodies like an iris scanner, a heart rate monitor, a sensor back here where you can check your heart rate. That's one that a lot of people, I've forgotten about, but I've been using it lately. It's got a fingerprint reader, iris scanner, heart rate monitor. It's got the also functional edge display. It's got a lot of things going on with this. The S Pen, that's what it's about. So I've actually done several videos on this phone. So the review won't be very long and it won't be very detailed. Excuse me, it will be detailed, but it won't be very long. I'll try to just direct you back to the other videos that I've done because I've covered a lot of things. I like to do it like that so my full review is not too long. But I've covered several things on this phone. And just kick back and grab a drink of soda or Gatorade or water or something and just listen if you want to. So Corning Gorilla Glass 5 on the back panel. It takes a nano SIM. It's IP68 certified, which is water and dust proof, and water resistant and dust proof, which means you can basically have this underwater for 30 minutes and then you'll start to have some problems. You've got great thing with Samsung Pay. That's really good. It's just really an overall nice phone. So I'm going to start with the display. Now I have a matte screen protector on here, disclaimer, and I have a black wallpaper. So another disclaimer. But I will tell you this. I'm going to change this display right now. Just give you back to the default wallpaper. Oh, I forgot to hit set. The display is vibrant. It's a very beautiful display. Even though I have this matte screen protector on here, it still looks really good. The reason I use matte screen protectors is because I don't like the glare and I don't like fingerprints. So I try to buy a matte screen protector for nearly all my devices if I can find them. But if you haven't seen my review on this screen protector, it's the IQ Shield. I labeled it the ultimate one. And look at that fingerprint, or excuse me, look at the counter that's going. All I'm doing is moving the phone. That's a huge flaw. Well, nonetheless, let's start with the screen. So coming in at 5.7 inches, that's 515 pixels per inch. Now, let me just go on record and say Samsung makes just one of the best displays. They make the best displays. There's no other way to get around it. This isn't just a Quad HD display. This is a Super AMOLED Quad HD display, which it has its perks over several other devices that I have in my catalog. For one, it gets really, really bright in sunlight, in direct sunlight. And it's just super crisp and clean and very vibrant. It is just just probably the best display I have in my catalog right now. There's no denying that. It's very compact in size, but it's got a really big display, which is 5.7 inches. And I've got some 6-inch phones and some 5.5-inch phones that are bigger than this, and they have smaller. The 5.5 inch is bigger than this, but it has a smaller display. But nonetheless, the display, I'm going to rank it right away. I'm going to go through this a little different. My new trend is to go ahead and just give you a rating right away, and then do an average. So the display on here definitely gets a 10. That's a 10 for sure. There's no getting around that. There is no displays really touching the panel on most of the AMOLED displays out. The OnePlus has a great panel. The Axon has a great panel. Just any AMOLED display, the J7, all those guys have great panels. Now, what next about this phone would I want to go down? Well, I'm going to go kick it over to the battery. Now, here's where the battery, this phone, it kind of falls short. When I first got this phone, I took it out of the box and I got 5 hours of screen on time right away, and I was really hammering it home, and it lasted 20 hours, I think. And that was in the regular mode. I didn't do the 720 or the 1080p. So the next battery cycle I did, I tested the battery, and let me just show you the screenshots here so you can actually see. because I took screenshots. That way you'll be able to see. Okay, so here's the next one. This is with it on the 1080p setting. I was able to get 22 hours, and then I was able to get 5 hours and 45 minutes of screen on time. So that's pretty good. And I'm going to show you I did it 3 different battery tests, and I did it with the max, the medium, and then off. So this is the max. As you can see, I ran it down to 4%. I was making a little thing. I ran it down to 4%. I got 1 day, 7 hours, 24 minutes, and 27 seconds. And then I got 7 hours and 30 minutes out of this battery down to 4%. So the reason I say the phone is a mixed bag is because now when I put it in the off mode, I just turn it off and just use it regularly. I can't get 4 hours of screen on time. Maybe. I'm getting maybe 3.5. Sometimes I got as low as 2 hours and 45 minutes. And that's with it not really doing anything. And I actually had sync turned off. I turned sync off at about 50%. I was like, what is going on, you know? So I turned it off, and then I did a full cycle again. And then I was able to get, like, with sync off, I was able to get like 3.5 hours. Now that I just don't understand. And I blame this solely on TouchWiz, because there's no reason why I should get such low battery life out of a 3,500 milliamp hour battery. I've read some other places, people are saying, oh, it's got the S Pen, it's got all this functionality. It doesn't have that much more functionality than any other device that I have. It just has the S Pen and the edge function, which I only have one panel. I just have my contacts. All the other panels are turned off. So why is this phone pulling so much battery? No one's really going to be able to answer that question. There'll be a lot of speculation in the comments, or there'll people just saying, oh, this is why, when you really don't have any proof why. So this is my experience. It's a mixed bag with this phone on the battery, because there's no reason a 3,500 milliamp hour battery on this particular package right here should run so poorly. After I got those, now I can get great battery life when I run it in the max mode. Even in the medium mode, I ran a second battery cycle, and I still was only able to get 4 hours of screen on time. So when I run it in the max, I can definitely get a full day and a half or so, or at least 1 day for sure. And get really good battery life, but I'm limited to just 8 things. And you know, that's not the way I want to use the phone. You can't use the camera, and that became a headache after a while. So, you know, battery life for me on this phone gets a 5, because I have phones with smaller batteries that have the same specs, you know, and it perform better. Let me see the Axon 7. The Axon 7 doesn't have the greatest battery, but I can still pull down 5.5, 6 hours on that thing. And it's 3250. This is 3500. So fix your battery, Samsung. Battery life gets a 5 for me. I've never really ranked a battery that low, but this phone costs almost $1,000. So that's the battery rating. Now let's move on to features. So features on this phone, it's got an iris scanner, a fingerprint reader, the S Pen, the Edge panel, Samsung Pay, which is a bomb. It's got the heart rate sensor on the back, and just a slew of things that deal with TouchWiz. So feature-wise, this thing is packed to the gills, and there is no feature that you probably would miss out on if you get this phone, because a lot of people are not business owners. However, you don't have to be a business owner to buy this phone. It is just a feature-rich phone, and a lot of other operating systems don't have those feature-rich features, but you can still do some of the same things on other phones that you can do on this phone, except for like the Edge functionality. And I'm talking outside of Samsung. There's not a lot of phones with the S Pen functionality. Now the Stylo 2 Plus actually does have great functionality for the S Pen. I've demoed that. Check my channel for it. But you know, just the fact that it's waterproof too. Makes it feature rich, so it's loaded up, and you should be well pleased with the features of this phone. So the features on this phone definitely get a 10. I'm not going to knock it for that. The iris scanner, I feel like, is great. A lot of people, I did a poll on that to see how people use it, and more people use that than I actually thought. So, you know, respect to that. You know, I still think it falls on the, it's not as functional as it should be. Like, I don't want to turn the screen on just to open the iris scanner. I don't want to do that. And someone in the comments, shout out to that person if you're watching this video, comment and let me know that was you. I don't remember your name. I can't just go back and check at the moment. But he said I would love to be able to touch this sensor on the back, the screen, and then just look at the phone and the iris scanner, and it opens it up. That's actually pretty high. It's an extra step, but it's still better than pressing and swiping and then looking. Yeah. So the phone is feature rich. You know, it's just one of those things that you're going to get it all when you get this phone. Next is the cameras. So the cameras have proven themselves to be very, very good. Samsung makes some of the best cameras on the market. This 12 megapixel camera and the one on the front. I took a lot of photos with front-facing photos, and people say, hey, you know, what camera is that? And I say, it's actually the front-facing camera on the Note 7. They're like, wow, that's a great camera. So cameras on here definitely get a 10. There's absolutely no slamming it for that. These cameras are banging, man, just banging. And I think that the next one I want to talk about, now let's get into, now when I spoke of features, I didn't speak about the SD card and memory. Well, it does have an SD card slot, and someone said that it does have adaptable storage, but Samsung, to my knowledge, doesn't have adaptable storage. And the fact that I've tried, you know, maybe I missed the step, but I know a phone that has adaptable storage. And anyway, let's move on. It does have 64 gigs of internal storage, which is more than enough for me. I didn't even put an SD card in here, so I left it as is. But let's get on to TouchWiz. Now, this phone, I posted something on Google Plus, and some of you might have missed it. Some of you might have caught it. If you don't follow me on Google Plus or Twitter, please do so. Mr. J.O. Williams on Twitter and Instagram, and then just look for J. Williams on Google Plus. Now, here's where the phone dramatically fails. This phone has stellar hard. Everything about this phone is banging. But let me tell you something. Some people say, well, you should just put a Nova launcher on there, and then you're all set. Well, I say I don't want to pay $920.65 for a phone and then have to put something else on it to make it better. Because when you're putting launchers on your phone, it does add a little bit of functionality and performance, but it's still another layer on top of another layer on top of another layer. And I think Eric, I was watching Eric's video. Shout out to Eric, Easy Computer Solutions. He talked about this in his video as well. And you know what? He's absolutely right. You know, I can put Nova Launcher on here, but why would I want to do that? I want to enjoy TouchWiz. It's like my thoughts on putting Android on a BlackBerry. I stand firm on that. Dude, I don't want to keep switching the OS around to make it functional. Samsung's TouchWiz, you know what? The TouchWiz on the S7 and the S7 Edge run better than this. How is that possible? And this is supposed to be the new one. This is supposed to be the latest version of TouchWiz, and it runs like crap. There is no reason that I should have lag in my operating system at all when I'm running 4 gigs of RAM, and I can turn on developer mode. Some people say turn on developer mode, but listen, when you buy a phone, you shouldn't have to tweak it. If I want to tweak a phone, I'm going to get a Nexus device or a OnePlus 3 or something like that. You know, phones that have nothing on them already. But Samsung has brought a very functional device to the market, but TouchWiz is too heavy. Now, how is it that the S7 Edge and the S7 run better than this phone? That shouldn't be. This is supposed to be their beast mode line. This is supposed to be the cream of the crop for Samsung. I don't care what you say. This is supposed to be the one. But it's not. Okay, I said it before. It's an S Pen. It's an S7 with an S Pen. The way this thing runs now, I can't even say that because the S7 Edge runs like a boss compared to this. This thing is so laggy. There's no reason I should have lag in my operating system. And it's running 4 gigs of RAM and a Snapdragon 820. And not just 4 gigs of RAM, it's DDR4, which is supposed to be the best. Why is that? Samsung, fix that, man. This isn't worth it when it comes to things like that. And I've got phones that cost less than this and run better. Well, I'm not going to rant about TouchWiz too much. All I can tell you is this doesn't feel like a phone that has 4 gigs of RAM and a Snapdragon 820. Now, in the video, you don't see any kind of stuttering or anything like that in this video. But let me tell you something. This thing does stutter. It does lag. You know, and the poor mixed with the poor battery life, I even have Samsung package installer. And before you start saying, "Oh, you got a defective device," people love to say you got a defective device just because you're having some issues with it. Sometimes it is defective, but there's nothing wrong with this phone. I haven't had any problems with it at all. Like, oh, you know what? I have had a problem. I had to go and change out my SIM card. For some reason, this phone frequently loses service over every other phone I have. It loses service. In fact, I had to switch out the SIM card on both of the Galaxy Note 7s that we have in the house, both of them. And I tested it. Before doing so, I put my SIM card back into another phone, went down the same spot, perfectly fine, LTE, full service. This phone, completely no service. Now, and that's on both of the Samsung Galaxy Notes. So there's one's blue and one's black. There's no way that we just both have defective devices. And in a coincidence, in that same spot and area in our neighborhood, it just drops off service. And my other phone, one in particular, complete LTE. And this phone isn't even designed for T-Mobile, even though it has T-Mobile bands in it. That's another problem that I had. I had to switch my SIM card out. The signal strength on this, I noticed, was completely lower. It just was not as good. It is not as good as some of my other phones in my catalog. It's just not there. Now, there's good and bad. Now, if you're keeping track here, I've already given this phone a 10 for screen, 5 for battery, 10, and then I just gave TouchWiz a 5. Now, I could give TouchWiz a lower score, but I like TouchWiz. It's functional. It's just no reason that it should run on this device and perform this way. So my another thing that I want to talk about with this phone is, you know, the pricing. Now, I always rate price on phones. So the price on this phone is it's freaking $900. You're gonna pay it. Now, my taxes are 8.25. Now, depending on where you live, you'll pay less than that, or depending on, you know, in the U.S. I should say. And if you're overseas, you're paying way more than that. Or just some states, there's way more. I think in Louisiana, it's cost maybe $950 something. I don't know. Everybody's taxes is different. But this phone is $920.65 for me, or something like that. And, you know, I just have too many other phones in my catalog that I have to recommend over this when it comes to the price. Because the overall package here, you're not really getting, you know, that much more when you get this phone. You're not really getting that much more. I give this phone's price about a 5 for the complete package of what it's offering and how it's put together. It takes it down. It takes the value to a 5 because it's not hammering it home like other phones with the same specs. That's what you need to be paying attention to. The Axon 7 has the exact same internals. Now you're going to say, "Oh, it has the same internals, hardware. It has the same thing." However, this has TouchWiz, this has a S Pen, this has the iris scanner, but you'd be making an excuse. Samsung chose to put it together this way. Now there'll be people out there that say, Jay, you planned on hating on that phone from the beginning. You had a little spat with Samsung Nights, and you just want to make these videos to hate on Samsung, yada, yada, yada. Well, kick rocks, because I'm giving a straight up honest review in my opinion and my experiences. Some things are not subjective. Some things are facts. It's just what it is. And I know plenty of people, I've read online, plenty of people are having issues with this. Some people say, does it heat up? Yeah, it gets a little warm. It's actually pretty warm in my hand right now. And it's warm right here. But see, when you get a phone that's twice the price of other devices and it performs not as good a high level as those, something's wrong. Got to start being honest, man. You know, I promote Samsung. I'm all for Samsung. But, you know, the fact is, it just does. This phone right here is supposed to be their beast mode phone. And you got phones like the OnePlus 3 killing it. You got the phones like the Moto Z killing it in performance. And you can't keep using the argument, well, you know, those don't have stock, don't have a lot of features. Okay, that's great, man. You can say that if you want to. The fact remains, I can guarantee if you buy this phone and you buy the OnePlus 3 or the Axon 7 or just any of those phones that are half the price of this, you'll get better performance. You'll get better performance. Now, the speaker quality on here, it's actually really loud. So if somebody says that it's not loud, that's a matter of opinion. That's actually subjective because I think it's really, really loud. But you have to get it at the peak. You don't start to hear the difference until you get to about 80 to 100%. And it really kicks in. It's really, really loud. You put it on half notch, it's like every other cell phone. You really can't hear it with a single bottom firing speaker. So again, check my other videos on this phone. It's just going to be one of those things that if you want to try it. Your experience might be completely different. But I don't think the complete package is here. So this phone got a total of 45. So let's divide that by 5 and give you your rating. 45. So it gets a 9. That's still a very high rating. A 9. Do the math yourself. Let me do it again on camera. 45 divided by 5. 9. There's your rating. So yeah, it scored lower than this phone right here. This phone got a 9.3. The OnePlus 3 got a 9.3. But this still got a 9. Let me tell you something. This phone is actually fantastic, man. I'm not knocking it, but you gotta man up and be able to take the good with the bad. This phone got, I think, 2 5s and 3 10s or something, or 3 5s and 3. I don't remember what it was, but 45. You saw it. Listen, you've got to be able to see things for what they are. If you're commenting on this video and you're not a YouTuber, you're not a reviewer, just go write a review of what your experience is on Google+. Don't just come to a video, slam the reviewer because this is their person's experience and this is how that person feels about it. Go write your own review. No phone is flawless. I've seen people in the comments, and I won't put them on blast, but every time I post a Samsung video or video on this phone, they start saying, "Oh, the Note's the best," without even watching the video. And I know it because the video is like 15 minutes long or 10 minutes long, and that comment is already there as soon as I hit submit and publish. You can only do that for so long. You got to face reality. The Note 7 is not the best phone on the market. The value ratio for the price and all the features, some of all these punks keep, and I call them punks because they're hiding behind their screen. They'll jump on the video and immediately say, and right here, the review's over. You can turn the video off, stop right here if you don't want to hear what I got to say. Review's done. Now, these trolls that keep on trolling all of the Samsung Note 7 videos or just anything I put up on Samsung, kick rocks, man. I mean, y'all are posting stuff on the videos immediately as soon as I post a video saying, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Samsung's the best." Heartbreaking reality check. Samsung, this phone is not the best, especially when you have phones like the OnePlus 3. Okay, so you want a Quad HD display? The Axon 7. You got the Blue Pure XL or something like that. That phone has a Quad HD display and it's only $299. Yeah, the software experiences are a little different. But listen, you can only say for so long, well, they don't get updates. Samsung doesn't update their phones that quick. They don't. The only phones that are guaranteed to get updates, we already know who they are. Shout out to the Nexus crew. They are getting updates they've already got Nougat on theirs. They got 7 on theirs. That got released the other day. The Nexus 5X and the Nexus 6P have Nougat. And then if you're real smart, you can just add it on there yourself. But these phones aren't getting updated like that. Let's just face reality here, man. The Note 7 is great. It got a 9. It got a rating of a 9 right here in this review. I gave it a 9. And I did the average afterwards so you can see that it's fair. I gave it a 9. But listen, this isn't the best phone on the market, period. Get over yourself. If you think that you've got the best phone, great. Then in your eyes, you have the best phone. But I review phones. I buy nearly every phone because there are people out there that want to see it. I had no intentions on buying this phone because my wife bought it. I said it a million times. I didn't want to buy it, but you know how it is. If a person likes something, they're not going to just let you use it every day. She wasn't having it. So I said, man, I got to freaking break down and buy this freaking phone. But I didn't buy it just for review purposes. I bought it because it was an interesting device. And I've always supported Samsung. But let's face it, man. There's a reason why phones like this, and this just happened to be the phone sitting by me because it had, I took my notes on this phone. So that's the only reason I have this phone here. It's nothing to do with this phone. But there are phones like this that, let's just give it the highest at its peak, $179, adaptable storage, fingerprint reader, decent cameras, beautiful 6-inch display. Why won't Samsung make a 6-inch Note, man? Samsung brought out the Samsung Galaxy A9. That should have come out as a Samsung Note line. It's 6 inches. It's beautiful. Look it up. It looks just like an overblown Samsung Galaxy S6, but it is beautiful. It's got a fingerprint reader, a 1080p display. It's AMOLED, of course. You know, Samsung is a great company. Again, if you're hating right now, saying, "Oh, Jay, I gave the phone a 9. It can't have a 10." No, it doesn't get a 10. It doesn't excel in all the areas that I want it to excel in. So, hey, it is what it is. It's still got a 9. That's a great rating. Still got a 9. But for me, it's not the best phone of the year. It's not the best phone on the market. It's just facts. It is what it is. It's a great phone, but the average score comes to a 9, and that's just what it is. So I'm gonna leave it right here, man. The review is over. That was my quick little rant about people just trolling comments, basically saying that this is the best phone on the market. It's not. Is it good? Oh yeah, it's really good. It has great cameras, great screen, you know, but the battery life sucks for me. You know, it's sluggish. You know, the performance isn't there. TouchWiz is too heavy on this phone. If you got a Galaxy S7 Edge, people have been asking me, should I upgrade? Should I change? You know what? Forget about the fact that I said it's an S7 Edge with an S Pen, because it's not. I still think it is, but physically it's not. But the S7 Edge performs better. Much better. Drinking my Gatorade. See, it's a new flavor. Some kind of glacier cherry. Pretty cool. Tastes all right. But anyway, man, listen. It's your man, Jay Will. Come back for more reviews, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Let's do this. Don't forget about my Tech Talk Thursday night.